Hey everyone, welcome to Resistance Book Club. My name is Keita, and this here will be AAPI Book Recs. All right, so went ahead and decided to go on my shelf and just pick out the books that I have read last year that I thought were absolutely amazing and really set the tone, for how I wanted to proceed doing AAPI every year. So, in no order of how I read these, let's get started. So, the first one, of course, Babel by R.F. Kuang. This here was my first introduction into R.F. Kuang, and the listening shift for this is 21 hours and 46 minutes, and it is narrated by Chris Lu Kum Hoy and Billy Fulford Brown. This here, I did not actually listen to it. I read it. It took me a minute because every time I kept reading, I had to take a break. It was putting me in chokeholds. I was getting really upset and bothered. It literally gave me all the feels. So, with that being said, I'm sure a lot of people know about this. But for those that don't know, in 1828, Robin Swift, orphaned by cholera in Canton, is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lavelle. There, he trains for years in Latin, ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, also known as Babel. Babel is the world center for translation and, more importantly, magic. Silverworking, the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation, using enchanted silver bars, has made the British unparalleled in power as its knowledge serves the empire's quest for colonization. For Robin, Oxford is a utopia dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge, but knowledge obeys power. And as a Chinese boy raised in Britain, Robin realizes serving Babel means betraying his motherland. Sorry. As his studies progress, Robin finds himself caught between Babel and the shadowy Hermes Society, an organization dedicated to stopping imperial expansion. When Britain pursues an unjust war with China over silver and opium, Robin must decide. Can powerful institutions be changed from within, or does revolution always require violence? My God, child. Even just reading this just brought like so many memories back. I don't even want to go into depth about this. I can't. Just know that this here was a 5 star for me, but this thing literally made me want to have drink on top of drink on top of drink and a couple of spliffs to just kind of settle my brain. I just could not believe like that it did that to me. This was so good, so good, and especially like the use of how they were using them. Like they were using these students, including Robin. They were using them to gain the colonization of all of the countries by using these silver bars for to translate their works. Like it's just so mind boggling because these are the things that really happen in our world. That's why it pisses me off. Yeah, I can't read this again. I cannot read this again because it's just like how I just got so amped up off of this. Like I can't because it's just gonna make me even more pissed off. But my introduction to her was so good, and I'm happy that I read it. Definitely worth the read. Next one, next one is Vashnavi Patel, and this here is Kaikeyi. I love this book. It took me a minute to kind of process everything, but I really, really, really thoroughly enjoyed this book. Okay, so for the listening ship of this is 17 hours and 22 minutes. And this here is narrated by Sonila Nakani. And the synopsis is this is Kaikeyi's story, the only daughter of the kingdom of Kikiya. I hope I pronounced that right. She's raised, excuse me, on legends of the gods, how they churn the vast ocean to obtain the nectar of immortality, how they vanquish evil and ensure the land of Barak prospers, and how they offer powerful boons to the devout and the wise. Yet she watches as her father unceremoniously banishes her mother, listens as her own worth is reduced to how great a marriage alliance she can secure. And when she calls upon the gods for help, they never seem to hear. Desperate for some measure of independence, she turns to the text she once read with her mother and discovers a magic that is hers alone. With this power, Kaikeyi transforms herself from an overlooked princess into a warrior, diplomat, and most favored queen, determined to carve a better world for herself and the women around her. But as the evil from her childhood tales threaten the cosmic order, the paths she has forged clashes with the destiny the gods have chosen for her family. Kaikeyi must decide if resistance is worth the destruction it will wreak and what legacy she intends to leave behind. So, yeah, this one here, I really did enjoy. I read it, I didn't listen to it. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was worth every page because I took it as with her story, she became a daughter to being a mother to being a queen, or a princess to a queen. And, just to see that journey and how she utilizes the magic to do the things that she was doing to not only save her kingdom, her new home, but also save her family from it all and the destruction of it all. It was just so beautiful. I mean, as a mother, I can definitely relate to some of the decisions that she was making and how you kind of just have to, as a mother, may not seem right to the child, but you know that in your heart you made the right decision because if it went the other way, it would have ended in death. And if they can't understand it, it's okay. You'll take the L as a mother, but what you're not going to do is take an L for losing your child. You hear what I'm saying? So that went into play, and that was probably the best part. And also, too, it came to full circle at the end, and that's what I'm here for. I love a book that has a full circle moment. May not like your story now, you know, the writing and everything. I'm waiting for you to get me something, but when you have a full circle moment, that lets me know that the story is complete. That lets me know you did a really good job at bringing everything together, and that's what I needed. So this is definitely a good recommendation. Next one is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. So this here I actually listened to it. I thought this wasn't so bad, but I realized that I'm not really a gothic horror person, and that's okay. You know, to each his own. It's not for everybody. But let me tell you what the listening time is and the all right, so listening time for this is 9 hours, 17 minutes, and it is narrated by Steve West and Sura C or Sai, or Su, because it's SIU. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that. But again, this here is a gothic horror. Once upon a time, a man who believed in fairy tales married a beautiful, mysterious woman named Indigo Maxwell Castaneda. He was a scholar of myths. She was a heiress. In exchange for her love, Indigo extracted a promise that her bridegroom would never pry into her past. But when the couple but when the couple returns to Indigo's childhood home, the House of Dreams, the bridegroom will soon find himself unable to resist. For within the crumbling manor's extravagant rooms lurks the shadow of another girl. How you pronounce that girl name? Azure? I believe that's how you pronounce the name, Azure. Indigo's dearest childhood friend, who suddenly disappeared. As the house slowly reveals his wife's secrets, the bridegroom will be forced to choose between reality and fantasy, even if doing so threatens to destroy their marriage or their lives. Through a tapestry of secrets woven around dangerous shards of truth, Chokshi crafts an atmospheric fever dream of a novel about love and lies, secrets and betrayals, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive. So, yeah, this is definitely like if you're into gothic horror, definitely the book for you. I enjoyed the listen because I love the bridegroom and the one who plays Asher, because it's just those two POVs, because Indigo is pretty much the the background, I want to say, even though it is her story, but it's a background to her story that leads to the secrets being told in the House of Dreams, if that makes sense. So love the story back and forth. And I did like the ending, but it's just I'm just not into it like that. I didn't really find myself too intrigued on it. I just wanted to hear like like what happens at the end. I think I'm better off just watching the movie if they will ever put out a movie, because there's so many movies that are like this type of dialogue and everything. So I don't know. It's just not really for me. But if it's for you, please go and get it, because it is. It is very good. Like, it's entertaining for sure. Next one that I have is The Henna Artist, and this here is by Alka Joshi. So this one I had listened to. There is two more books because it is a trilogy, but yeah, I've actually really enjoyed this book. A lot more than I thought I did. All right, so listenership is 10 hours and 56 minutes, and this here is narrated by Sneha Math- Mathan or Mathan. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that. But escaping from an abusive marriage, 17-year-old Lakshmi makes her way alone to the vibrant 1950s pink city of Jaipur. There, she becomes the most highly requested henna artist and confidant to the wealthy woman of the upper class. But trusted with the secrets of the wealthy, she can never reveal her own. Known for her original designs and sage advice, Lakshmi must tread carefully to avoid the jealous gossips who could ruin her reputation and her livelihood. As she pursues her dreams of an independent life, she is startled one day when she is confronted by her husband, who has tracked her down these many years later with a high spirited young girl in tow, a sister Lakshmi never knew she had. Suddenly, the question that she has carefully cultivated as protection is threatened. Still, she perseveres, applying her talents and lifting up those that surround her as she does. Again, this one here was actually really good. If you are definitely into that type of narrative, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the listen very much so. Some parts had me laughing, some parts was just like, what? Like, why would y'all do that? But overall, the whole story and her journey in literally like just becoming her own boss and trying to show that to her sister is so hard, when your sister, who is young, trying to be free out of that whole construct of dealing with strict parents and whatnot, like all of that goes into play. But the hypocrisy of it, the audacity of it is all in there, and is literally is a good read. It's a good time to actually sit down and read something like this at this time. But yeah, other than that, 5 star. I really no, I don't think I gave it 5 stars. I think I gave it like 4.5 because it was still good. I wanted more. You know what I mean? Like, I need more. So again, it's a trilogy, so I have two more books to go, and I figured, oh yeah, why not just add those two? You know, I might just end up reading the other two for this month, and then I'll be done. But yeah, so that's it for this one. And let's move on to the next one. All right, next one that we have, and again, a repeat author, which is R.F. Kuang, and this here is YellowFace. And if you just notice, yep, this here is special edition of this. I believe I got this from Waterstone, and I love it, and it is signed. This here, the whole listenership is 8 hours 39 minutes, and it's narrated by Helen Laser. And did not listen to this. I actually just read it as is. So authors June Hayward and Athena Liu were supposed to be twin rising stars, but a literary Athena's a literary darling. June Hayward is literally nobody. Who wants stories about basic white girls? June thinks. So when June witnesses Athena's death in a freak accident, she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers during World War One. So, what if June edits Athena's novel and sends it to her agent as her own work? So, what if she lets her new publisher rebrand her as Juniper Song, complete with an ambiguously ethnic author photo? Doesn't this piece of history deserve to be told? Whoever the teller, that's what June claims, and the New York Times bestseller list seems to agree. But June can't get away from Athena's shadow, and emergent evidence threatens to bring June's stolen success down around her. As June races to protect her secret, she discovers exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. With its totally immersive first person voice, Yellowface grapples with questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, as well as the terrifying alienation of social media. This joint here is insane. Like, it's insane. I read this and I had to put it down so many times. It was just like with Babel. Like, I had to put it so many times because she is always doing this. Like, to the point where I'm just like, girl, what is going on in your head? I don't know. There's something that's going on in your head. It's just not. Arf Kwan, we gotta talk, honey. Like, you always be having me like, what is going on? I mean, yo, the racism, the cultural appropriation of it all, the microaggressions in here. Oh my God, it is insane, man. It's insane. June is a trip. She is a trip, honey. Like, I don't know, but this was definitely that read. This ain't nothing much to say. Like, if you haven't read it, you really need to read it. You should read this in the summertime. Like, this is a good summer read that just will have you be sitting there like, God damn, like, this girl don't calm down. June, calm down. Telling you, fame is a hell of a drug, I promise you. But this is definitely a 5-star read. Now, on to the next. All right, so this one here, Daughters of Madurai, and this here is by Rajasree Variyar. I hope I pronounced that right. Total listenership is 14 hours 6 minutes, and it is narrated by Vashnavi Surya Prakash. I hope I pronounced that right, and I do apologize for butchering anybody's names. Is I just wish I knew how to pronounce names correctly. This here is the Barnes and Noble's edition, and it's all sprayed edges of green. I thought it was actually beautiful. That's why I bought it. So in Here's the synopsis. Madurai, 1992, a young mother in a poor family. Janani is told she is useless if she can't produce a son, or worse, if she bears daughters. They let her keep her first baby girl, but the rest are taken away as soon as they are born and murdered. But Janani can't forget the daughters she was never allowed to love. Now, in Sydney 2019, Nyla has a secret, one she has been keeping from her parents for too long. Before she can say anything, her grandfather in India falls ill and she agrees to join her parents on a trip to Madurai. Nyla knows very little about where her family came from or who they left behind. What she's about to learn will change her forever. While The Daughters of Madurai explores the harrowing issues of female infanticide, it's also a universal story about the bond between mothers and daughters, the strength of women, and the power of love in overcoming all obstacles. This here was really, really good, and it also shows the reasoning for Janani not telling Nyla all of her secrets or all of her past because it was still too painful till this day to even go down that memory lane. And I thoroughly enjoyed this. I did listen to this. This was a very, very, very good listen. Um, she did an amazing job even pronouncing some of the words. I believe I gave it 4.5 only because there is a secret, and even when we get to the end and that secret is kind of like put out, not really put out there, it really wasn't even told, but you just kind of knew. I felt like they just brushed over it. She brushed over it, the author, and that was it. And I don't know if that's like a part of their culture to do that, but we still didn't talk about it. You know what I mean? Like we didn't get to a resolution of an understanding of, moving forward in it. So that just kind of fell short for me. But other than that, I still love the mother and daughter of going from not bonding, but having a better relationship due to the fact that the past is open and it's there to for Nyla to understand. And that was it. It's just, sometimes some things are just too painful to just talk about, but I'm happy that they come to that understanding in that book. So definitely worth the read. All right. So the last book is Age of Vice, and this here is by Deepti Kapoor. And I did listen to this. The whole listenership is 19 hours and 28 minutes, narrated by Vidish Athavel. I hope I pronounced that right. And the synopsis reads: New Delhi, 3 a.m. A speeding Mercedes jumps the curb, and in the blink of an eye, 5 people are dead. It's a rich man's car, but when the dust settles, there is no rich man at all, just a shell shocked servant who cannot explain the strange series of events that led to this crime. Nor can he foresee the dark drama that is about to unfold. Deftly shifting through time and perspective in contemporary India, Age of Ice is an epic, action packed story propelled by the seductive wealth, startling corruption, and bloodthirsty violence of the Wariyar family, loved by some, loathed by others, feared by all. In the shadow of lavish estates, extravagant parties, predatory business deals, and calculated political influence, 3 lives become dangerously intertwined. Ajay is the watchful servant born into poverty who rises through the family ranks. Sunny is the playboy heir who dreams of outshining his father, whatever the cost. And Netta is the curious journalist caught between morality and desire. Against a sweeping plot fueled by loss, pleasure, greed, yearning, violence, and revenge, will these characters' connections become a path to escape or a trigger of further destruction? Equal parts crime thriller and family saga, transporting listeners from the dusty villages of Uttar Pradesh to the urban energy of New Delhi. Age of Ice is an intoxicating novel of gangsters and lovers, false friendships, forbidden romance, and the consequences of corruption. It's a binge worthy entertainment at its literary best. I love this damn book, but I had to give it 4.5 because I know there's more. I know there's more. There's definitely more. It was so good. Ajay, You F around and find out, you're gonna F around and find out. That's that type of dude. He stole my heart in this book. It was so good and so captivating, and just to see like his transformation from when he was a child to an adult and having to deal with, from poverty to crime family, and to come out of it knowing the things that had happened. I cannot tell you because then that would be spoiling it. Just know I really enjoyed it and I enjoy listening to it. It was done up very well. Sunny, you will get yours. Netta, honey, you should have been walked away. But that is the reason for Age of Vice, because there is just so many vices at their disposal. And it's either you're going to walk away from it or you're going to go deeper down that rabbit hole that you can't get out of. So, so good. Other than that, that is it. That's all the recs that I have. And I can't believe it took that long. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it. Just so you know, I will be doing discussion questions for Daughters of Madurai and also the Henna artists, because I did them last year, but again, my videos were done. So I'm going to redo these and put them out for next month. And that is it for this video. So be on the lookout for those. Let me know if any of them, interest you, or have you read any of them? Tell me, how did you like them or didn't like them, didn't relate to it. Just let me know. So other than that, that's it. I will see you in the next one. This is the way. Peace.